England, a land steeped in history, a land where power has been held, shaped and lost by many. Among those who have walked within the corridors of influence, few titles hold the weight and grandeur of Duke. The title, derived from the Latin dux, meaning leader, speaks volumes about their historical role. These were not merely men of noble blood, they were leaders in war, influencers in peace, and shapers of England's destiny. From the battlefield to the council chamber, their presence resonated through centuries of English history. But how did these men ascend to such heights? And what led to their eventual decline? Join us as we delve into the captivating story of England's dukes, exploring their rise, their reign, and their gradual fall from the pinnacle of power. The story of England's dukes begins in the chaos and conquest of the Norman era. It was a time of upheaval and transformation, where the old Anglo-Saxon order was being replaced by a new Norman aristocracy. William the Conqueror, having seized the English crown after his victory at the Battle of Hastings in 1066, needed to consolidate his power. He faced the daunting task of ruling a land that was unfamiliar and often hostile to his rule. What better way than to reward loyal followers with vast tracts of land? By granting these lands, William ensured the loyalty of his Norman knights and barons, creating a new ruling class that was deeply indebted to him. Thus were born the first English dukedoms. These titles were not just honorary, they came with significant responsibilities and privileges, including the right to govern large swathes of territory and to command armies. These early dukes, wielding significant military might and economic control, quickly established themselves as powerful figures in this new English landscape. They built castles, fortified towns, and maintained private armies to protect their interests and assert their dominance. Their influence wasn't merely limited to their own domains. They played crucial roles in the governance of the realm, often serving as the king's most trusted advisors and confidants. As the king's most trusted advisors, they held sway over matters of national importance. Their counsel was sought on issues ranging from military campaigns to legal reforms, and their support was essential for the stability of the kingdom. The fate of England, it seemed, rested heavily on their shoulders. The decisions they made in their own territories and in the King's Council had far-reaching consequences for the entire nation. However, this concentration of power was not without its inherent dangers. The dukes, with their vast resources and influence, could become rivals to the crown itself, leading to power struggles and conflicts. As the dukes grew in power and prestige, so too did their ambition. Some sought to expand their territories at the expense of their neighbours, while others aimed to increase their influence at court, often through intrigue and manipulation. The stage was set for a delicate dance between the crown and the dukedoms, a dance that would shape the destiny of England for centuries to come. This intricate balance of power, with its alliances and rivalries, would define the medieval period and leave a lasting legacy on the history of England. The late Middle Ages witnessed the zenith of ducal power in England. During this period, the influence of the dukes reached unprecedented heights, shaping the very essence of English society and governance. Dukes were not just powerful lords, they were patrons of the arts, builders of grand cathedrals, and visionaries who left an indelible mark on the cultural landscape. Their patronage extended to commissioning exquisite sculptures and paintings which adorned the interiors of these magnificent structures. In addition to their cultural contributions, dukes were also formidable leaders in times of war. They commanded respect and loyalty from their knights, who donned intricate armour and wielded formidable weaponry, ready to defend their lord's honour and territory. Their names echoed throughout the land, synonymous with wealth, influence, and the very fabric of English society. The grand estates and castles they built stood as symbols of their enduring legacy, each structure a testament to their power and ambition. One striking example is the magnificent Warwick Castle, a testament to the might and grandeur of the Earl of Warwick, later elevated to the Duke of Warwick. This imposing fortress, with its towering walls and strategic location, exemplified the military and political prowess of its owner. This kingmaker, as he came to be known, played a pivotal role in the Wars of the Roses, a brutal dynastic struggle that engulfed England in the 15th century. His ability to influence the outcome of battles and the fate of kings earned him a place in history as one of the most powerful figures of his time. The Wars of the Roses, while devastating, further exemplified the immense power wielded by the dukes. They led their armies with strategic acumen, their banners flying high as they marched into battle, determined to secure their place in the annals of history. They commanded armies, forged alliances, and directly influenced the succession to the English throne. Their political manoeuvring and strategic marriages often determined the course of the nation's future, making them indispensable to the monarchy. However, this period of immense power also marked a turning point. The constant battles and shifting allegiances began to take their toll, leading to a gradual erosion of the Duke's influence. The seeds of change were sown, and new forces were emerging that would challenge the established order and forever alter the landscape of power in England. The rise of the merchant class, the spread of Renaissance ideas, and the increasing power of the monarchy all contributed to the decline of ducal dominance, signalling the end of an era and the beginning of a new chapter in English history. The 16th century ushered in an era of unprecedented upheaval. It was a time when the very fabric of society was being rewoven, and the winds of change blew through every corner of England. The Reformation, spearheaded by King Henry VIII's break from the Catholic Church, sent shockwaves through England's social and political structures. This monumental decision was not just a religious reformation, but a catalyst for a broader transformation that would reshape the nation. This seismic shift in religious authority also impacted the balance of power. The Church, once a dominant force in both spiritual and temporal matters, found its influence waning as the state asserted its supremacy. Henry's dissolution of the monasteries, a bold move to seize wealth and land from the Church, had unintended consequences for the dukes. The confiscation of monastic properties was intended to fill the royal coffers, but it also disrupted the established order. While some benefited from the redistribution of monastic lands, the overall power of the nobility, including the dukes, was diminished. The traditional landholding aristocracy saw their influence wane as new power dynamics emerged. The English Civil War in the 17th century further accelerated this trend. The conflict, which pitted royalists against parliamentarians, was not just a battle for control, but a struggle over the very principles of governance. The conflict, rooted in a power struggle between the monarchy and parliament, forced the nobility to pick sides. Loyalties were tested, and the once unified noble class found itself fractured. This division within the ranks of the nobility weakened their collective power and set the stage for a new era in English governance. The old order was crumbling, making way for new political realities. The execution of King Charles I in 1649 sent a clear message. The absolute power of the monarchy was at an end. This dramatic event was a turning point, symbolizing the decline of royal absolutism and the rise of parliamentary authority. The rise of Parliament and the concept of a constitutional monarchy signalled a shift towards a more balanced distribution of power, further eroding the traditional dominance of the aristocracy. This new political framework laid the groundwork for modern democratic governance, where power was shared and checked by multiple institutions. As the 17th century progressed, these changes began to permeate all levels of society. The common people, who had long been subjects to the whims of the nobility and monarchy, started to experience a new sense of agency and participation in the political process. The economic landscape was also transforming. Trade and commerce flourished, and a burgeoning middle class began to emerge. This new class of merchants and entrepreneurs further diluted the power of the traditional aristocracy, as wealth and influence became more widely distributed. Concurrently, the scientific revolution was taking root, challenging old beliefs and fostering a spirit of inquiry and innovation. These intellectual currents contributed to the broader cultural and political transformations of the era. Enlightenment thinkers began to question the established order, advocating for reason, individual rights, and the separation of powers. Their ideas would eventually inspire revolutions and reforms across the globe, but their roots were firmly planted in the upheavals of 16th and 17th century England. The legacy of this period of Reformation and revolution is still evident in modern British governance. The principles of constitutional monarchy, parliamentary democracy, and the rule of law that emerged from this tumultuous time continue to shape the political landscape of the United Kingdom today.